Welcome everyone. Last one, 5 of 5, Atlas Survey 5. Today's topics will not be as research-centric as research test-centric as we've seen in prior surveys, but it's still things that happen in Atlas, and we would like feedback on importance and use and some other categorical questions that we're going to ask you in the survey. Giving an agenda, some of you will be very familiar. We're going to go over what is Atlas, what the development status is, what we're needing from the community. We'll review Survey 4's responses from last week, and we'll introduce Survey 5. Konstantin Iaroshovets will be doing that demo today and going through the features that will be a topic of the survey. Okay. What is Atlas? Atlas is our web-based application enabling non-programmers to design and fully specify elements that can be used in observational studies. It's our primary interface for developing and evaluating cohort definitions. Functions include vocabulary searching, concept sets, cohort definition, characterizations, and analytics. And other backend functions that we're going to be talking today is about authentication, tagging, versioning, things like that. The development status of 3x and 4x. The 2x line of Atlas is at end of development. It will be maintained for current users and hotfixes will be accepted. The 3x is under development based on community feedback. That's where the series of 5 surveys will be instrumental in determining what we're going to carry forward and what our energy and priorities will be put. In addition to all functional priority, we also have technical updates that we have to do as a result of the platform being end of life. The 4.x release will make fundamental changes to the application design based on user interviews and data collected by Data for Life. Hopefully, some of you have actually been engaging with that group and providing some of your ideas about how you would want to execute your research tests. Okay, so what do we need from you? We'll be showing you a set of features in Atlas 2x, version 2.14 specifically, and we need your input about frequency of use and importance of the features. Frequency means that you never use something up to often use, like 75% of the time of Atlas you're spending in this feature, and how important the feature is, whether it's not important, you can live without that feature, or it's extremely important and it's critical to doing your tasks. Feedback from these surveys will determine which aspects get application priority. Okay. Survey 4, 15 responses, a little bit off from our high of around 90 from our first survey, but this makes sense in the sense that as we moved through the application, we went to areas of the application that were basically from our overall survey seen as not as frequently used or not as important as some of the other things. In fact, there could be a little bit of bias in this survey saying like the 15 people that went to answer these questions probably have some interest in these features, but I just like to urge anyone who is within my voice, go ahead to the forum post that I just updated today with survey 5 and take the 10-15 minutes to do the other surveys. It's very important, and if only to just provide your own free text input about what you'd like to see improved in the Atlas, that will be extremely helpful for us to have a kind of a barometer of what's happening in the community about what they want to use. So going on to the responses for the last survey, we covered characterizations, pathways, and incidence rates. I'm going to breeze through this a lot because there was actually a lot of questions that people answered, and I truly appreciate those people that came through and answered the questions. It seems like from a frequency, so the characterization has 3 types of features, as we recall. That let you determine the characterization elements of your population that you aggregate into proportions. We have pre-spec analysis, custom SQL, and criteria features. It looks like of the 3, not many people are using the custom SQL, which probably makes sense. It's a very powerful tool, but obviously you need more technical expertise to leverage that stuff. Into criteria features, there's 2 flavors of that, one that gives prevalence, or I should say proportions, and others that give distributions. We can see actually a fairly even distribution of frequency and importance of use on those 2 features. You can subgroup characterizations into subpopulations. That'll get you proportions among the subgroup. And so we do have people split between frequency of not so frequent and frequent, and people thinking it's not important to people thinking it's important. So it's kind of a mixed bag on this particular channel. people are executing their studies, their characterizations, so that's good to see. People do less often than not import export, but it is an important function. So that's good to see. People aren't typically reverting to prior versions, and whether that considers an important feature or not is reflective there. People are not so much tagging characterization analyses assets as much as, say, concept sets and cohort definitions. People are using the reporting filtering functions, and they are important. People are using the comparative cohort functions, so the more important than not on those functions. And the sorry, I see. I thought there's kind of two questions about subgroups, so hopefully that aligns. Okay, cohort on the cohort pathways front, we do have people using it and considering it important. And therefore, people who are designing the pathways are probably the same people using the reports. Utilities, as far as import-export, is not as frequently used, which I guess makes sense from like a network study perspective. We don't really see pathways shared as much in network studies, but the ability to import-export does have some importance. Versioning and tagging, again, these type of things don't seem to be seen as something that we should be, or we would seem to be tagging. So this is very good information to see where our tagging function is being used across the application. So I appreciate these responses. Oops. And finally, incidence rates. People are using it more frequently and considering it more important than not. Not as many people are using the criteria to create strata in their incidence rate for the subpopulations of incidence rate calculations, but those that do seem to think that it is important. Exporting to CSV is not frequently used, but mixed bag on of importance. We have these reports around the usage of the reports. Again, mixed bag on frequency of use, but still considered important. Not many people are looking at the SQL, which makes sense. It's hard to read the SQL sometimes, but it's really there for diagnostic purposes. And then version and tagging, again, reflective of like other answers to about not really something that people look to do an atlas as far as tagging instance rates. Okay, that was a whirlwind. And again, very thankful that people took the time out to give us some feedback on these functions. Okay, so as I said earlier, Survey 5 is a little bit different than other surveys in that we're going to be talking about administrative functions. It's still functions of Atlas that we want to get an understanding of its use, but you might find yourself in a not familiar territory when answering these questions. We still want you to do it because there might be something there that you have feedback on that we'd like to hear from. So please take the time to do this. But the topics are going to be authentication, data source configuration, user role administration, Active Directory integration, tag management, and auditing. That's what we're going to cover in that in this survey. So I'm going to hand it off to Konstantin. Konstantin, are you with us?
Yeah. Chris.
Excellent. I will stop sharing, and you can go ahead and grab this share.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah. So my name is Konstantin Iaroshovets, and I'm from Odysseus Data Services. I'm a product operations lead, now a part of EPAM systems. And today I will help Chris to walk through and demo some of the administrative features. So as Chris said, we will be talking about authentication itself, data source management, user and roles administration, AD integration, and I'll give some information about stack management and audit trail log. So let's start. So the first topic is authentication and security options. First thing, there are two modes how Atlas and Web API works, and one is without authentication. So technically, there is one user, authorized and anonymous user. But the second mode is where we enable our authentication against some of the identity providers. The security enables and disables with web API and also in Atos config files. I will try to be less technical here in my presentation and talk more about from user perspective what it means for us and in terms of demo feature itself. So what we need to know about authentication methods. Atos out of box already supports number of types of integration. The first and simple one is local database, where you do not need to integrate with any identity provider, and you can create users on your local instance and work with this. But if you want to, let's say, to integrate with other identity providers, Atos and Web API, they provide a few integration methods. First one is classic one is auth integration. So usually you can configure it together with Google, let's say with GitHub. Maybe you want to do it with Facebook. But I believe for most of us living probably in enterprise environments and where we have number of security policies in place. And then we talk about more robust integration. It's Active Directory or LDAP. So typically, and from my practice, our organizations enable Active Directory integrations on some level. This is when Atos and Web API work to get your credentials and pass and validate them against the Active Directory. So you need to pass login and password for your enterprise account. But since number of, and this is a classic trend right now, everybody is switching to single sign-on tools and authentication providers, and also utilizing some MFA, multi-factor authentication. Then you need to confirm your access from mobile device or whatever. That's we have here we have SAML option. This integration and method allows administrators to configure single sign-on. So it means that for user in browser, once you logged in one of the systems in your enterprise environment, you'll be smoothly authenticated and your authentication will pass across the different applications. Work you with Atos or with other tools, they do not need to pass and go through the authentication flow again. And what does it mean for in terms of user interface? So then you have configured security in your Atos. On the top right, you'll have sign-in link, and once you click it, you can see this pop-up providing you with configured authentication methods. For example, here we can see Google. This is OGCI Atlas demo instance. So it means with Google account, everyone can log in into this instance. What we need to know about other features around this. So once you are logged in, and typically it's administrative function. So once you log in, you will be able, as administrator, we can emulate other accounts or other users in the system. So for example, if we need to troubleshoot some problem, then your administrator is able to log in as you and validate what is wrong, what works wrong for you. Together with this, we can see expiration. So this is a session granted for my in my environment, and this is where I can double check this. This is also configurable parameter on the API side. And addition to this, there are a number of other things and security methods. Let's say Atlas can block users if they provide number of incorrect passwords, let's say, and give some time to relax and try afterwards more. Okay, so let's go next, and next will be data source configuration. So what we have here. So I will not dig into details. Technically, this topic is nicely covered by wiki pages. There, especially for the cases when you do not have security enabled. In this case, you need to configure the data source manually through the SQL queries against the application database. But once you have security enabled, you have a totally different picture from user UI. So let me show you. So let's go to the configuration and see a little bit in the administrator mode, so I can show you what features are available here in addition. So basic view, and you can see the list of the data sources available, for example, in my instance. As a user, I can switch between vocabularies on this screen. So let's say between versions of vocabularies available in my data sources. And this selection will work in my vocabulary search. As administrator, we can see additional feature like switching the source prioritization for the whole application. So for example, when I switch to this mode, I can switch default vocabularies to different version, and this will affect all users in the application. The same works for all the radial balance here for evidence, if there are available additional schemas, or let's say for cohort counts. It works the same. Then we speak about the data source management. One of the questions in our survey will be also how many data sources do you have? This is not typical question in our survey. We are very interested to know how many data sources are in organizations in their instances, just to understand the UI and UX points here. The management of data sources is available from this interface. We can create, update, delete, and edit our records through the interface. So, for example, if I need to create a new data source, I can fulfill all the technical fields, let's say the name of the data source, my connection string, source key. Also, Atlas and Web API support all the dialects synchronized with database connector and SQL render. So this is exactly the same set of supported dialects. And yeah, you need to specify your schemas. If you need to delete this data source, you can use your remove button, or you can edit existing data sources. What we need to know here that in addition, and this is a typical approach, then we create a data source. The Atlas and Web API, they will create a special security role for this particular data source. And now we are moving smoothly to next topic, which is user and roles management. Then we are talking about roles. What we need to understand in Atlas, in Web API, there are two types of roles. Since Atlas and Web API, they support classic role-based access functionality. So here we have from one side functional roles. That is a classic approach for every application. But in addition to this, we have some kind of managed access to our data sources. In many organizations, we face with situations when different groups of users should be able to access a different set of data sources. And this is something where we have these automatic roles created when we are adding the new data source. In terms of the user interface, going back to the presentation, we have on the management and configuration screen, manage permission settings button. And when we open this, we can see the set of roles. Atlas comes with already predefined number of roles. Let's say Atlas users, this is classic role, then you need to grant access to your users to Atlas functionality. Admin role, yeah, itself says, and that is for administrators. If you need to grant people access to work with all the assets in the application, you can utilize moderator role. But apart from this, in order people to work with data sources, you have to grant users with a source user role. Let's say I want to grant someone access to the application and features. So you can see the next screen. So I can see the set of the users in our environment, and I can specify, let's say I want to revoke or grant access to some of the users. Once I'm done, I just press the save button, and that's it. But management, it's not sometimes easy. Then you have a big number of data sources or a big number of different custom roles. Switching to custom roles, in Atlas, you can create also the custom roles. We have a button here. So let's say you need to create some roles that will give permissions user to work with all cohorts and editor cohorts. So this is something that you can achieve by setting and configuring the special permissions. But this is a little bit technical. So in order to do this, you need to understand how these permissions are organized and how to configure this. If there will be interest, we can maybe talk about this on work groups. In addition to custom roles, you can also migrate and copy paste roles between different instances. So you can see the import function here, the same as like copying cohorts with JSON object. It's possible also to copy the custom roles between instances, and sometimes it's really used. I saw some usages. Okay, and in addition to classic role-based access, Atlas has an additional feature, and let me demonstrate it on a different screen. So when we are talking about assets like cohorts, concept sets, cohort pathways, characterization, whatever, with enabled security, there are some restrictions on the objects created by users as owners and for other folks. Other folks are able to see these objects or assets in read-only mode, and they can edit, for example, the assets that you created. That's why we need some ability to grant permissions to users, other users to be able to, let's say, to work as a team on one single thing. That's why we have this feature on the asset level. So here you can see the log icon that has its own interface. So this is where you can say, I want my colleague, say Gohan, to be part of my characterization and be able to edit it. So I can, as owner, I can grant other folks access to my asset, and this is where so this is not something on administrative level, it's on user level, then you can grant it by yourself. Okay, so switching to next topic. Next one will be LDAP and AD user input and synchronization. So understanding the problem that some environments might have different big set of data sources. They can have different users to be assigned to the data sources and to some to some features. We need ability to manage it smoothly, and usually in enterprise environments, all these type of access is managed by a centralized system, and this is Active Directory or Azure ID or Entra ID nowadays, so it might be Okta or whatever. So there are a number of tools, but Active Directory is a classic solution for these things. That's why in Atos we can configure, so this is additional configuration and technical configuration, where we can synchronize and ask Atos, let's do it on, let's say, a daily or weekly basis, synchronize the users and synchronize Atos roles and Active Directory groups. So how it looks like. Okay. Locked out. Let me. On the configuration screen, we can see these import users from LDAP and AD. We can schedule, or we can create one-time job, or we can create a scheduled job that will synchronize users between the roles and Active Directory groups. So let's say I want to do one-time import. I can select Active Directory. I can, let's say, test connection to my AD instance. And afterwards, I can see my screen where from left side, I can see the roles that are available in Atos. And from left side, there's selection of our groups in Active Directory. Let's say in my situation, I have very simple configuration. I have only one single AD group, and this is what I use for, let's say, data source and for Atos features and for some other roles. We can assign, let's say, different group for administrative personnel who are managing the Atos, and we assign different roles for different data sources. And moreover, we can assign not only one group, but we can configure multiple groups to be synchronized with Atos role. So once I'm done with this setup, I can go next, and afterwards I can see my users that I synchronize. Usually we can click all, and once I'm done, the system will start the import. This helps administrators, first of all, to create user records, because in worst case scenario, we always ask user to log in first, and afterwards we'll see this record created for the user, and afterwards we can grant permissions manually. In this case, this synchronization job will create all users for us, and moreover, it will automatically grant all the roles assignment for all the users. Once it's done, afterwards, or let's say I can configure it separately, this job can be scheduled So it means that I can run it on, let's say, monthly, daily, hourly basis, set some expiration. I can manage and update some mappings, and after, more of all, I can track the job history, how many users were inverted, and so on. So very helpful in terms of administration. Then you have big number of users and big number of data sources. Okay, switching to next topic. It will be tax management. I'm not sure how many of you are using it. So the problem we see that people are facing in a number of environments. They need some way how to organize logically Atlas assets in some of groups or be able to filter it and so on. That's why tax feature was introduced in Atlas. And nowadays, it lives in a special tag management section here on the configuration screen. As an administrator, I can configure all my text groups and text for the users. Let's say I want to create the tag group, let's say called status. And we can think about departments, whatever. And I would like to say that the tags can be allowed, multiple tags can be allowed from one group or not. I want to custom tags creation in this group for end users, and I can also say that I want this tag group be shown in my table view, for example, for cohort or for other assets. So how I code. Once it's done, I can submit it, and we can see this status group created. I need to add tags here. So tag is means that we can say that the status might be in progress. I can assign some color, nice color, and some icon. Let's say in progress will be yellow. And I can save it. And let's say I can create a second tag, saying it's done, and it will be green. Once I create it, what will happen for end users? They can apply these tags for the assets that they are working with. Let's say I want to apply this tag for my characterization. Here we have this text management button, and once I open it, I can see this status tag. Let's say I want to say that this work is in progress, and I say assign. Once it's done, I can see this tag here, available here in the top. That is nice. And once I close my characterization and go to the table view, what is a helpful thing, I can see this status in the table. So I can filter this, and more of all, I can apply a filter from the right. Let's say I want to see only items that are in progress. So this is additional thing how you can create some tagging or metadata system in your Atlas environment to apply these tags for your assets. This is probably helpful. Let's see how will be your answers in survey. Other feature is audit trail log. So I will not dig into these technical details. Just want to mention that this is additional thing, and this is additional feature that could be configured for the by administrators. This is more important for security and policy compliance. Many organizations, price organization require audit trail log be available. And what we are collecting here in terms of atlas. Any authentication or logout events and activities, any resource creation or modification like assets. In our case, if someone created a cohort or let's say started execution on some data source, that will be tracked. All the permissions changes in terms of the security groups and roles, and data source access if we, as I said, if we need to generate something, again, let's say cohort or characterization. There are some other features. I will not dig into this. So on this stage, I want to pass the stage back to Chris. Hopefully, that will be a nice presentation for you and helpful.
Absolutely, yes. So hopefully, as people are watching Konstantin go through this stuff, you have some orientation now to the features that were discussed, and then as you go through the survey, just answer it to your best understanding of your frequency, importance of these features, and also a couple of categorical questions about, like, what, for example, what type of authentication you're using. But I very much appreciate your time, Konstantin, for taking the time to produce these slides and do the demo. Well done. And hopefully everyone else will be able to just jump into that survey and give us some feedback. Going to just close out the thing with some just information for you guys so that you can have this. Let me just share again real quick for 1 or 2 slides. Okay, so our survey has been posted to the forums. You can find it, the forum post here. The link directly is here. Craig will be sending out the survey link, so you can just access it through the thing. So again, I hope you guys will take the time to not only this one, but if you haven't done the prior ones, please give us feedback and give us some information about frequency and importance of those features, and we will greatly appreciate it, and we'll be taking all this information to heart.